Today's video is sponsored by Game Nerds, the best place to buy all your sealed Digimon product, as well as other trading card games and for all your general gaming needs. And also by Inked Gaming, the best place to get your own custom playmats printed with the highest quality around. Links are in the description. What's going on, Tamers? It's your boy Varney, and today I figured instead of bringing you guys the video that I was going to do for Tamers Battle League, it was a lot of work and wouldn't be able to put it out today at a quality that I'm comfortable with. I figured I'd give you guys this video about the top cards that you should pick up in BT-13. Now, these are cards that may not necessarily be meta relevant. Some of them are right now, some of them may be in the future, some of them may never be. But they're cards that are just generically good, and you should just have them in your collection. Maybe you like deck building and you just like to throw random cards in and see what sticks. Who knows? I think you should take a look and decide for yourself. So let's get to the list. So we start here. We've got 15 cards. It took a lot to narrow this list down to what I thought was a good set. But for those of you who just want to look at the list and exit the video, I'd appreciate if you stay and watch. But, you know, if you just want to see the list and get out, this is the list. But for those of you who are going to stay and watch the video, I appreciate you. So we're going to start off with probably like the next best generic purple egg. Leopardmon. So Demi-Meramon's kind of been the go-to purple egg because it's generic on deletion, draw one, trash one. That's super good. I find in purple a lot of times that I draw and I may not be able to trash cards as often as I like. Leopardmon helps, especially if you have decks where like you're focused on drawing and trashing. Leopardmon is your fifth egg for being able to trash a card, because I can't remember a lot of purple eggs off the top of my head, but a lot of them are really just like draw power. And sometimes you really just want to get like an extra card out of hand. So Leopardmon is good for that, just for being able to trash a card. And it also deletes a level 3 as an egg. I think that's really clutch. I don't think we have many cards that do that. You know, the yellow Koromon eggs for Shine and like Lord Knight back in the day, those were minus 1k. You're not able to take out rookies that are bigger than 1k, you know? So I think this is a really nice card to have. It's only 8 cents on TCG. So, you know, obviously when you buy cards in bulk, you want to be able to place bulk orders. But this is a card that you could probably find in your shop's bulk bin, or ask anybody if they have any spares and just pick this up. The next card is Gatsumon. So I originally wasn't a fan of this card, but it's growing on me. So it's a blocker. And then on deletion, if it's your opponent's turn, reveal top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 black card from among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. It's a searcher for any card in your deck if you're playing a mono black deck. The reason I didn't like this card is because it's a searcher that's contingent upon your opponent dealing with it or upon you blocking, and it's not triggerable on your turn, which sucks. But, you know, we see in like the Jumbo Gamimon deck, and just generically, I mean, there isn't anything better to play, so you might as well play this, you know? It's a blocker. It's only 1k, so, you know, I was just talking about Koromon deleting 1k takes care of this, but this has the on deletion to search, so you can get the block in early game, get a search, and maybe you're out here plussing. I don't know. I just didn't like this because you have to sacrifice a body to get a search, but I think it's still a generically good card enough that you should just pick it up. So we see Gatsumon here, 7 cents, another bulk card, you know? Moving on, we've got Salamon. So this one I like. The reason I like this one is because, you know, green's archetypes to date are basically Insectoid and Salad. But we're kind of seeing another archetype come out, you know, in EX, especially EX5, where you have Beast Animal. So this is a top 3 search for Beast Animal Sovereign, other than Sea Animal, and a Royal Knight. So you can play this in Leomon. Beast, they're probably, he might have cards that are an animal. I don't know, I'm not sure. And also Sovereign for what it's worth. And then the Inheritable is same thing and +2 for +2 KDP. So when I mean same thing, I mean. And then the Inheritable is +2k if you're Beast, Animal, Sovereign, or Royal Knight. I think this is also another generic good card. We might not see Royal Knights other than Leopardmon in green, but if we ever do, this is good. If we ever get access to Salamon in other Royal Knight decks, this is really good. And then also just for the entire Beast Animal, just Beast archetype, I think this is a solid card. It's a top 3 search for 1 card. Some archetypes, and I just talked about Gatsumon being a crappy searcher, and Salamon searches top 3 for 1 on play and has a goated inheritable. I think this is a card you should have. This is 8 cents, so pick it up as well. Next, we've got Phascomon. So I love Phascomon. I love Phascomon because it's kind of a better Tapirmon. Tapirmon is nice, especially on top of like a Demimera. On deletion, it's a draw 2 trash one. Phascomon on top of Demimera is a draw 2 trash 2. Phascomon generically is just draw 1 trash 1. And as much as I like draw power in purple, I do like trash power just as much, which is why I like the Kapurimon egg. So this is effectively a draw 1 trash 1. I mean, you're not plussing on anything, it's just helping you cycle through your deck. And then end of the opponent's turn, draw 1 trash 1 as well. I think this is just a nice alternative to Tapirmon because I really do like what Tapirmon does. But sometimes I also, maybe I have like a chaos mode in hand that I want to get out. Maybe I have an Underworlds call that I want to trash. I can get that extra card draw anyways. I like Phascomon a lot, and I would definitely pick yourself up a playset of these because it's also another cheap card. Next up, we've got our last rookie, Kudamon. This is probably the best rookie on this list. Salamon's good, but Kudamon's the best one here. It's on play, reveal top 3, add 1 yellow Digimon card with the vaccine trait and 1 yellow tamer card among them to your hand. Place the rest of the bottom deck in any order. When attacking, once per turn, if there are 6 or fewer total cards in both players' security, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP for the turn. This card is fantastic. This card searches an entire trait. I think that's something we need to see more of in Digimon. I love Akiho, the red KFC tamer, for that reason, because she's also a vaccine searcher. This card searches vaccine and a yellow tamer. If you're building almost any yellow deck, you'll probably play this card just for that on play, because there's a lot of good vaccine cards. And of course, searching out your tamers is always plus. Like, I don't think we have any other card other than targeted searchers like Agumon. The BT-13 one searches a Greymon and a Tai. We have the Vmon that searches a blue tamer, I believe, and a Dramon, or is it a Vdramon? It might be a Vdramon. This searches just the yellow tamer. This is probably one of the best rookies in the set, and especially for yellow. And it's also one that I would nominate to probably the first to get an alt. But it's cheap. It's also 10 cents. So pick this up as well. You know, you see a couple at 17 cents, but 10, 17 cents, there's no difference. Let me move on to our champions. We've got Gladiemon. This is a black champion. Got jamming on the main body, reboot as an inheritable. I think anything that gives you reboot, you know, we had Toy Agumon back in the day. That was reboot on a level 3. It means you have to see your reboot. You know, basically you have to start the game with reboot, you know? That's difficult. This is reboot on your champion. Really good as an inheritable. We also have, I think it's Ganemon that gives you reboot as a champion. So effectively, like, now you have 8 reboot targets for your champion lineup. If you have a deck that's gonna work off of reboot, I think that's really good. And also having jamming is really solid because that means you can swing this, Digivolve into something, and then it gains reboot the next turn, and you unsuspend. I think this is a really good card. It's also a really cheap card as well. You'll see that a lot of these cards are really cheap. I'll say they're definitely cheap because this set's been open to all hell, but I mean, these are commons and uncommons, most of them. So you're gonna be able to pick these cards up really cheap, and you should have playsets of these cards just because you can. So moving on, we have Porcupamon on play, on deletion. Delete one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon. For me, this is like great purple, great generic purple support. This is what Ogremon is. I think it's BT-6 Ogremon, which is on play by trashing a card in your hand, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. May only delete a level 3, but it only plays for 4. It's an on deletion as well, so you can even just Digivolve swing die, and then the same end of turn as Phascomon for the draw 1 trash 1. So good inheritables, and just a good main body effect. If you can, I mean, obviously this is good in Belphemon, but there are other purple decks that could definitely benefit from this card. And I think it's a generic purple card that's good enough, that's cheap enough, that you should just have a playset of it. Moving on, we have probably the best champion in the set now, Geogreymon. This card is wild. Y'all will already know because you've probably played against Shine. When digivolving, search your security stack. You may play one red or yellow tamer card among it without paying the cost. If you did recover one, then shuffle your security stack. If Yellow Hybrid was still around, this card was definitely being played. If Yellow Hybrid was still around, this card would probably have gotten banned. This card is great. And then your turn once per turn, when one of your red or yellow tamers becomes suspended, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. Even if it didn't have this inherited, I'd put it on this list. But with this inherited, it becomes even better. TK and Kari, when one of your yellow Digimon attacks, you suspend it minus 1000 DP. With this in the stack, that's minus 4000 DP. Tai and Kari triggers this. This card is great. You should pick this up. This card is, it's not like as cheap as the 5 to 10 cents we were talking about. It's 20 cents. What is 20 cents to you? Pick this card up. Next card we've got Magnamon. Now this card isn't on the list because it's like amazing or anything. What this card is on the list for is because it's VMon support, it's Royal Knight support, it's Magnamon support. We already have another Magnamon and we have Magnamon X. We're getting the new X Antibody Proto form, which means that Bandai isn't stopping printing X forms. They're going to continue to print X forms. They're going to give X forms support. This is a card you should have. It digivolves 3 from VMon. It's blocker on the main body. All turns when it would leave the battle area. Chaos Tag, deletion, DP reduction, bounce. Arrester's tuck, because it does leave the battle area to come back in the battle area. You draw one. And then you may play one VMon from your hand or this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards without paying the cost. This card is great. You should have this card for sure. It's only a rare. It only is going to cost you 27 cents. It's $1 for a play set. Now, if you want to get spicy and go for the alternate art, well, the alternate art's 50 bucks. Do I suggest you picking this card up for 50 bucks? No, I don't think so. I don't think I would touch this card at 50 bucks unless you're playing Royal Knights. And if you want a max rarity, but considering that you can have 4 of this card for $1 compared to $200, you probably should just pick this up, even though this is a really tough pull. Next card, we've got Giromon. So this is the kind of, combo with Gladiemon, but this is just a card. This definitely isn't meta relevant. It's a blocker. Opponent's turn once per turn. When one of your Digimon becomes suspended, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. That means when you block, trash top card. It's kind of like the Metal Tyrannomon from BT-13, which is when you delete an opponent's Digimon in battle. Doesn't matter if you block or if you attack over it, you trash a security card. Anything that trashes security is really good. This is really good for that. All it takes is like one good blocker, them making blockers really good to play as an archetype for this card to become even better. And the best part about it is this is a 10-cent card. Like, I think you should just have this because why not? It's just good. It's also 8K. 8K is big. On reboot, like you could swing over low bodies because a lot of champions are like 7K. You can swing over and live. It's play cost 8. You're not going to get Congoed with this. I think it's a solid black card, all things considered. We've got our last champion, and arguably I'd call, champion, ultimate. And arguably I'd call this the best ultimate simply because on play when digivolving, you may play one red tamer card with a play cost of 3 or less from your hand without paying the cost. The on deletion doesn't matter. I don't care about the on deletion, which is delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. I like anything that plays tamers for free. The only other like red card that plays tamers for free, Rise Greymon from BT-4, which has DigiGuard. Now, granted, this will only play cost 3 or less. If it played 4 or less, you probably see a lot of red decks that don't need to play in their archetype play this. But even so, Akiho, like I said, is such a fantastic tamer. Christie's decent. And, we're going to get a new Sora come BT-15. Tai, I think even the red Tai, you can play red Tai for this, the new one, because he's a 3 cost. So this card is just really generically good for any red deck that might rely on playing some tamers out. This is going to play them for free, and it's going to let you climb up to your mega. You should have this card. This card, guess what, is cheap, 10 cents. Now, Leopardmon. For those of you who don't know, and I'll pull up the card right now, Leopardmon, when digivolving, I'll read the effect first. Once per turn, you may play one green or Royal Knight trait Digimon card from your hand for the cost. When it would be played by this effect, reduce the play cost by 4. In all turns, when you play another Digimon, all of your green and or Royal Knight trait Digimon gain blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. This card combos very nicely with a new card that we are getting come EX5 called Leopardmon X Antibody, which is Digivolve 6 from Leopardmon and without X Antibody in the trait for 1 cost. Sorry, I read that completely wrong. It's Digivolve from a level 6 with Leopardmon and without X Antibody trait, which means you can't Digivolve from this self. I feel like they might have shortened this because this probably should say Digivolve level 6 with Leopardmon in its name and without X Antibody trait. Otherwise, I don't see why you would specify this exactly, because we only have level 6s with Leopardmon, unless you give us a level 5 or a 7 with Leopardmon? Question mark? Because Leopard mode is only a level 6. So, I don't know why they clarified it that way, but that's something to keep in mind. Regardless, when Digivolving and main, you may play one green Digimon card from your hand for the cost. When it would be played by this effect, reduce the play cost by 4, so the same effect as Leopardmon. However, if Leopardmon, or if a card with Leopardmon in its name or X Antibody is in this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards, further reduce it by 3. That means a 7 play cost reduction. You could spit out another Leopardmon for 4. You could spit out an ultimate for free. And then your turn, once per turn, when you play a Digimon, you may return one of your opponent's Digimon 5,000 or less DP to the hand. For each of your other Digimon, add 3,000 to the maximum DP of the Digimon you may choose with this effect. You could easily bounce 11Ks. It's easy to have 2 other Digimon on the field. You have 3, you're bouncing 14Ks. This card is great. I do think after reading this effect, I do think this is supposed to be level 6 with Leopardmon in its name. That's why they specified level 6 and without X Antibody trait, so that you can't Digivolve from this Leopardmon X Antibody, because otherwise you could stack Leopardmon X on top of Leopardmon X. So with that in mind, I'm actually adding a card to the list right now, which is Leopard mode. You should have Leopard modes because it Digivolves 1 from Leopardmon. When Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon until the end of your opponent's turn. One of your opponent's Digimon doesn't unsuspend, so it suspends something and it gets to stun something. When attacking, by suspending one of your other Digimon, unsuspend this Digimon, so it plays into the strategy. And then at the end of your turn, trash the top part of this Digimon and unsuspend all of your Digimon. So you just played a bunch of Digimon off of Leopardmon, and now you go into Leopard mode, and you go, doing stuff. You swing, you unsuspend. The end of your turn, you trash this, you unsuspend. If you somehow can keep turn, you can go into Leopard X. It seems like you might be able to go into Leopard X on top of Leopardmon even. So if that's the case, you don't get this end of turn effect because it's not like it gains it till the end of the turn. It's just at the end of your turn, you trash that top part. So if you go Leopardmon, Leopard mode, and then Leopard X, it works. And we have it pulled up. It's an 8-cent rare. Pick that up. You want to pick up Leopard mode? Leopard mode is even cheaper. Leopard mode is 10 cents for the super rare. Let's say 30 cents because there's just a couple. 30 cents for the super rare. That is nothing. The alternate art is $3. You should pick this one up like right now. It's actually $5. I lied to y'all. $5. No, I don't want to do that. Pick this card up. Pick up Leopardmon alternate art if you like. It's $20. Do I think it'll go down? No. I think if this goes down, the worst it'll go down to is like 13, 14 bucks. And at that point, you ask yourself, what is $7 to $8 worth for me? If you're buying a playset of this, you're paying like 90 bucks. What is 20 to 30 bucks worth? Is it worth getting the card now, or is it worth waiting? That's what I ask myself when I buy myself bolts. Moving on, Gallantbar, the secret of the set. When you would play this card from the hand, if you have no Digimon, reduce the play cost by 2 for every 5 total cards in both players' trashes. It has Rush and on play when Digivolving, when attacking. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. If no opponent's Digimon was deleted by this effect, delete one of their Digimon with 13,000 DP or more. Not once per turn. That means on play, get the effect. Swing, get the effect. This is such a good, straight generic card. You can play this in almost any deck just because of how good it is. Because if you're playing against like Beelzemon, for example, it counts their trash. So you can reduce play cost for that. Obviously, if you're playing a purple deck, you could play this card. No shot. This card is cheap for a secret, all things considered. It's a $20 secret. You don't need 4 of it. Do I think you should have a playset? I think you should have a playset of every card. But at $20, I think you should definitely have this card. At $50, do I think you should be buying the ult? No. I'm not saying it's not worth $50 as an ult. I think this card's tough. I love this card. But, you know, considering that you can buy almost 3 of these for the cost of 1 of these, you should just be getting yourself a playset of that Gallantbar. Taurismon, super rare. On play when digivolving, if there are 6 or fewer total cards in both player security stacks, gain 3 memory and reveal 1 card from your hand. That's mandatory. You have to do that. If it's yellow, place it on top of your security stack face down. If it's not, return it to the hand. For mono yellow deck, this card is great. This card digivolves for 5. It's very easily offset by having 6 or fewer cards to gain that 3 memory, making it a 2 cost to digivolve. And get recovery. So this is a super solid late game strat. By trashing the top card of your security stack when you attack once per turn, unsuspend this Digimon, and one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 7,000 DP for the turn. It's not better, it's slightly different BT-4 yellow War Gray. BT-4 yellow War Gray was when attacking, add the top card of your security stack to your hand, unsuspend this Digimon, give one of your opponent's Digimon minus 6,000 DP for the turn. So this does almost the same thing, but by trashing. And sometimes you hate to trash stuff, but you'll see it with the option card. There are things that when they are trashed, they activate. So it combos with that strat very well. I think this is a super solid card. This card is cheap. This card is 50 cents for a super rare. You should have a playset of this. It's $18. It used to be about 12 for the alternate. I would have definitely picked it up at 12, no shot. At 18 to 20, it's still solid. Again, $80 for a playset or $12 at its low. What are you losing? 48 to 80, so you're losing about $32. What is that worth to you? Is it worth getting it now or is it worth waiting? Ask yourself that question, make your decision. You should definitely have a playset of this. It's a vaccine, it's super solid, yellow as a level 6. If you want to play a little bit more of an aggro strategy, it's a Royal Knight, it'll always get support. Pick this card up. Our last card we're going to talk about today is Odin's Breath. When an effect trashes this card from the security stack, activate this card's main effect. Main, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. Then, if there are 6 or fewer total cards in both player security stacks, all of your opponent's Digimon get second -1 until the end of your opponent's turn. That's just... that's just great, isn't it? And this card is 10 cents. This card is like Holy Flame, because Holy Flame, but the difference in Holy Flame is Holy Flame targets one thing for sec -3, and in security, it's sec -1. This card is when you use it, it's sec -1, and when it's in security, it's sec -1, as long as there are 6 or fewer total cards in both player security stacks. And when it's trashed, it activates. That means all the aggro decks that are trashing this card activate this. That means like if OmniX reveals, trashes this card is still going to activate, because by the ruling, even though OmniX reveals the cards in the security stack, I believe the ruling, or I might be wrong, it's something with the Congo clarification, but I do think when this card is trashed by OmniX, you still get to activate the effect. Sec -1, it can't swing for game. Yellow strats, this is such a good card. This, Kitoris, Kudamon. Like, once we start getting some more vaccine support, we start getting some more support that works around these trashing security archetypes, being able to recover a little bit easier so you can modulate yourself that much easier, because you don't want to just be trashing willy-nilly. These cards become really great, and you'll love yourself for having picked up all of these cards for what is essentially, I'm gonna say, outside of the alternate arts, you picked these cards up for $10. Pick them up right now. go place your order on TCG Player. Anyways, that is it for this video. If you guys like this video, please drop a like. We'd really appreciate it. It helps the channel out. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about these 15 cards. Are they worth picking up? Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? And subscribe to us so that you know when more videos like this come out, as well as following us on Twitch so that you know when the Tamers Battle League goes live, because guess what? It is always this Friday at 7 p.m. Be there or be square. Until we talk to you guys the next time, peace out.